Master race or not, PC gaming's got a lot of things going for it. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 PC games that console players have never played. Are you a fan of this video? Be sure to subscribe to catch our latest show, The Bolt to E3. 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way. Watch the whole series now on WatchMojo. For this list, we're highlighting great titles that never made their way onto other platforms and can only be experienced on the PC.
Maybe not, but whoever sent this message could be.
Number 10, Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Am. BioWare's first entry into the RPG genre, the Baldur's Gate games and their expansions were revolutionary and incredibly influential, especially for future BioWare titles.
I shall attend to it in a trice. Walking alone in the Coastway Road. How smart is this?
Applying the rules and mechanics from the mother of all fantasy IPs, Dungeons & Dragons, the Baldur's Gate series adapted what people loved about the tabletop RPG to a single-player PC gaming experience. Console gamers would eventually be able to try out these mechanics, such as hidden dice rolls that determine damage and accuracy, when Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic was released 2 years after the final Baldur's Gate 2 expansion, Throne of Baal.
It is time for more experiments.
Number 9, Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. One of the premier first-person survival horror franchises on the market, this first entry of the underrated trilogy never quite made it to consoles, which is probably what kept it out of the limelight too. Set in the wake of Chernobyl's nuclear meltdown, the game challenges you to stay alive in the harsh environment against the wildlife and mutants impeding your progress. With some really good, realistic gunplay, and a story that keeps the intrigue up and tensions mounting, this title has continued to captivate the PC faithful and remains relevant to the shooter genre, even today.
This one seems to be alive. What a lucky guy. At least death would have saved him from the dreams.
Number 8, Papers, Please. One of the more bizarre entries on this list that still managed to gain a cult following, this communist-inspired document thriller throws you into the colorless world of Arstotzka as a patrol agent, working to keep your family alive. It may sound super boring to those unfamiliar with the game, but after just a couple of in-game days, you'll be hooked. As the game ramps up in difficulty, your mistakes start to become more and more costly, which pushes you to either be more vigilant or more corrupt. Otherwise, your family gets colder, hungrier, and sicker. It's bleak and dreary, but very thematically poignant and very addictive. Number 7, Starcraft II.
I don't much like fighting Protoss if I can avoid it.
If you pay any attention to the esports scene, you'll undoubtedly be aware of this sci-fi RTS series, and for good reason. The visuals are crisp, the story builds on the original title to a satisfying conclusion, and the gameplay remains one of the most diverse and balanced of any of its competition, as few and far between as they might be nowadays, because it sort of killed all the competition. But if single player isn't your style, getting a match on the online multiplayer only takes a few seconds, and while it's brutally unforgiving, it is extremely rewarding when you finally win your first one-on-one match.
Bold move, Mr. Reyna.
Number 6, Garry's Mod. Probably one of the most confusing entries on this list for those unfamiliar with PC gaming. This sandbox is quite literally anything you really want it to be. Whether you're in the mood for a multiplayer shooter, a terrifying single-player experience, or just want to creatively throw some objects together, you can scratch that itch in Gmod. Anyone who's unconvinced of this game's merits should keep in mind that it's been captivating players for over 10 years without letting up. Jump into the sand, and you'll never have an excuse to be bored. Number 5, System Shock 2.
Who knows what wonders await our crews in the bosom of the cosmos? All we do know is that it's a great day for mankind.
Fans of the horror sci-fi shooter subgenre have had no shortage of heart attacks in recent years, with titles flooding both the PC and console marketplaces. But without this influential entry to help pave the way, we might not have been so lucky with our Bioshocks and Dead Spaces. Sure, the graphics, while kinda good for their time, are definitely dated by now, but the gameplay is still rock solid, and the story, which is told mostly through scattered audio logs, contributes to an amazing atmosphere of loneliness and terror that had us awake at night after each playthrough.
That's why you volunteered to be implanted with some experimental cybernetic implants.
Number 4, Rome, Total War. Console gamers have been cheated pretty hard when it comes to the strategy genre. Regardless of why, gems like this are only found behind a computer monitor and are excuse enough for anyone to give the mouse and keyboard a shot. fusing a turn-based overworld with real-time battles. Rome provides a huge amount of civilizations, units, formations, and yes, even taxation systems that would please even the most hardcore of tactically minded fans, regardless of whether they want to get their hands dirty on the battlefield or take a backseat and relax as you watch the bodies fall. Number 3, Diablo II. While console gamers were fortunate enough to experience the third installment of Blizzard's action RPG franchise, this title is not only considered almost unanimously better than its follow-up, but is also one of the best PC games of all time. There are few moments in gaming that are as badass as storming Diablo's Sanctuary solo. But the title also boasts some fast-paced, albeit not entirely balanced PvP. Whether they're grinding their hardcore ladder characters to level 100 or farming keys to unlock the Uber bosses, the online community has been fixated with this title for almost 20 years with no signs of letting up, which is some pretty strong quality assurance, we think.
Ah, very good. I have translated the runes on this scroll.
Number 2, World of Warcraft.
It's begun.
When a gaming platform is centered on being online almost 100% of the time, it makes sense that its games take full advantage of those capabilities, and none do it better than Blizzard's genre-defining MMORPG. With expansion after expansion keeping the game fresh and interesting for millions of players, the world of Azeroth is still, at its core, an addictive, rewarding experience that continues to consume lives. There's definitely a learning curve, but finally taking down that tricky raid boss with a guild is an experience every gamer should have had at least once.
All must serve the one true king.
Number 1, League of Legends. Probably the most successful esport in a genre that console players barely get a taste of. Riot's unimaginably popular MOBA game not only dominates online discussion on message boards and forums, but also on Twitch, YouTube, and anywhere else that's even remotely interested in games. And for good reason. Its 5-on-5 focused gameplay allows for strategic depth, mechanical skill, mastery over not only your character but your role as well, and allows for the most euphoric highs and crushing lows, sometimes in the same match. Is the community as welcoming as one might hope? Probably not, but gather some buddies and you won't play anything else for a long time. Do you agree with our picks? Don't forget to check out The Bolt to E3, a brand new series from WatchMojo, where 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way.